guys, this is Gabe from CGRundertow, and I've got my little friend Toad here today. We're doing some story time. It's been pretty rainy and snowy outside, so we haven't been able to go for a walk. So we're reading. Today we have a really good book that I just picked up. This is called Super Mario: How Nintendo Conquered America by Jeff Ryan. Now, this book chronicles basically the period from when Nintendo still wasn't really doing video games yet. They were trying all sorts of stuff, from love hotels to ramen noodles, up until the 3DS. The Wii U's not covered in this, so I figure that must mean that he wrote it before E3. And this book is actually pretty long. I'll zoom in for that. So this book is around 290 pages, I believe. 289. So that's a lot of material. The print size is pretty small, and there's a lot of information that I actually didn't know. So like I said, this starts when Nintendo was still trying new things, and the book really picks up near the beginning. So it starts out with information about a game called Radar Scope and how Nintendo is basically making a clone of Space Invaders. Eventually this game became what's now Donkey Kong, and how do you do that? So what they actually did was they had a guy you might know named Shigeru Miyamoto design a brand new game using a new motherboard, and they switched out the remaining motherboards with this game, repainted it, called it Donkey Kong, sold it. The rest is pretty much history. And that's what this book really is. If you're under the age of, I'd say, maybe 14 or 15, it might kind of bore you to death because it's mostly history. It's a lot of economics and business, more so than actual games. So this is Super Mario: How Nintendo Conquered America, and that's not just put on there to sell copies. This really is told from how Mario saw things. There's very little about Zelda. They talk about it for a little bit. There's not very much on games like Metroid or any of the newer series. They talk about Donkey Kong a little bit, but it's really just to introduce Mario and how Mario ended up selling these games. And it really is mostly a history lesson. You're not going to be talking about like design or anything. This is mostly for people that didn't know all of the origins of Nintendo and Mario. But there's a lot of stuff I didn't know in this. They delve in for a pretty large portion of this, talking about a lawsuit between Universal and Nintendo over Donkey Kong and King Kong, where it ended up kind of coming back to bite Universal in the butt because they ended up actually having to owe Nintendo money because they had made their own game with Tiger Electronics that was modeled after Donkey Kong. And the lawyer who represented Nintendo in this case was a guy named Kirby. So, wonder where their little character's name came from. It also has information, some people might already know this, about the origin of the name Mario. Now, they already had him kind of called Jumpman while they were developing it and in Japan, but they wanted a better name, and while they were discussing it, they had a landlord that came in to tell them they were late on rent by the name of Mario Segal. And he was fat, he was short, and he had a bushy mustache. So they kind of figured, well, he kind of looks like him already, why not? So all in all, I think this is a book that's a must for Nintendo fans, Mario fans, history buffs, or anyone interested in economics. It really is how Nintendo conquered America from Mario's perspective. So you're going to be getting a lot of history lessons, but also information about business practices, why Nintendo does things that they do, even a little bit of information about their competitors to tell you really why Nintendo is still on top and the rest aren't.